Sat Shri Akal and welcome to this special episode of our podcast where we simplify complex topics and brings you expert insight. I am Jatinder Kaur and we are exploring one of the most anticipated financial event of the year, the union budget. Budget impacts everyone, whether you are a salaried professional, a business owner, a seasoned entrepreneur, or an investor. But understanding these policies and those numbers can be really overwhelming. That's why we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Davinder Singh, a seasoned chartered accountant who will help us decode the budget in very simple terms. Welcome to our podcast, sir.
Thank you very much, Jatinder, and I'm thankful to Punjabi Chamber of Commerce for doing this wonderful, knowledgeable session on the Union Budget. Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you, sir. So, to start with our union budget, I want to ask first question of mine: what are the most significant takeaways from this year's budget that businesses and individuals should be aware of?
First of all, I tell you before the most significant, rather the
Mm-hmm.
more popularized, so which everybody knows. There's a tax reforms of 12 lakh tax exemption limit from the 7 lakhs. So
Yes,
that's,
yes.
I would not say it's significant, but I would say it's the most propagated because so
Mm-hmm.
we are a country of middle class people and we are so delighted. So, to get it done from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs, that's one. But I would say the significant in terms of capital expenditure. So
Mm-hmm.
this in this budget, 3.1% of the GDP, which comes out to be whopping 11.21 lakh crore. That has been earmarked for the infrastructure and capital expenditure by the government of India. So in this particular budget. So I think that is the stimulator for boosting the economy. And yes, if I talk about an unbiased approach or a balanced approach, the fiscal metrics, so fiscal
Mm-hmm.
deficit is comparatively a economist definition. So fiscal definition is so whatever my income is and whatever my expenditure is a difference. But that's around 4.4% of the GDP, which is really alarming. So rather capex should be more than the fiscal deficit. So in this case, 3.1 is the capex and 4.4 is
Mm-hmm.
the fiscal deficit. So I think we have miles to go for a robust economy to go there. And the most significant, to my knowledge, is the nuclear
Mm-hmm.
energy initiatives. So this time the government has come with the allocation of 20,000 crores for the nuclear energy mission. So I think that
Oh,
sets the
okay.
tone for development here. So I would say that this union budget has the several pivotal measures which will help in stimulating the dwindling economy of India. Yeah.
Economic. So you mentioned that the tax is now the slab has been now increased to 12 lakhs. So is there any major change in corporate tax rates or GST regulations that will impact taxpayers like us?
I'll answer your second question first regarding the GST. Now,
Mm-hmm.
these days, I one thing I make it very clear that in these days in union budget, there is no GST tax rate cuts or increase. So GST committee meets
Okay.
once a month or once in 2 months and they prescribe the measures. So as such, GST tax rates are
Hmm.
unchanged. So and they remain
Hmm.
unchanged for the last so many budgets. Yes, in the GST they say कि भाई इस चीज पे बढ़ गए हैं, so
Hmm.
that's in the different slab. It is in a different slab. That's something else. But as such, the tax rates are absolutely same, like the 5%, 18%, and 28%. Now,
Hmm.
let's come to the corporate tax. Yes, foreign corporation, the tax rates are reduced from 40% to 35%. So that's a significant change to bring the
Yeah.
foreign investment in India. So far, income tax for a common man is concerned, additional tax reforms, capital gain taxation. Now the capital
Hmm.
gain taxation is set to 12.5%. Earlier it was 20%. And the basic
Okay.
limit for capital gain is 1,25,000 rupees. On the other side, in the stock market, you will see after the budget, the stock market did not responded the way it should have been. The
Hmm.
moment,
It's
7
really
lakh
low
to
these
12
days.
lakh
Hmm.
exemption.
Hmm.
So that was there and everybody was so happy. But the market
Hmm.
is not happy. Why? The market is down so much points after the budget. Reason being, there is a security transaction tax on trading on the exchanges. When we buy share
Okay.
or we sell shares or we play
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
derivatives, there is
Hmm.
a tax. Now the government has increased that tax from 0.1% to 0.2%. So that add the cost of the trading. So that's why the
Hmm.
market has not responded
It
positively
has
when
hit low.
offered.
It has hit low.
Actually. So that's why in the beginning of the podcast, it's a significant 12 lakh. So that's a
Hmm.
significant is this STT 0.2% than the 0.1%. And yes, standard deduction is increased from 50,000 to 75,000. So that's a good relief for the salary employees. In other words, on 12.75 lakhs, we need not to pay any tax. Yeah.
So, sir, we had a word regarding the corporate tax and the GST regulations and everything. How this budget is supporting small businesses and startups in the term of taxation, compliances, and or incentives?
A good question. There is one section 80IAC in the Income Tax Act. I repeat, section 80IAC. It's particularly for the tax holiday for the startups. So earlier it was valid till 1st April 2025. Now the exemption is extended towards 1st April 2030. In simple words, so what any startup, so can
Mm-hmm.
claim the tax exemptions of a zero holiday, tax holiday, till
Okay.
10 years of operations. So earlier, ये जो पहले section 81 IEC था, so this was supposed to end on 1st April 2025. Now they have extended for the another 5 years. So I think it's a very
Okay.
nice initiative on the
Hmm.
part of the government.
Support to
Regarding
startups.
the yes. Regarding the compliances simplification, there is one MSME classification criteria. So one once get into MSME classification, so then the chances of bad debts in the trade they are very less because the government is very alert so that कि पैसा जो है वो small
Hmm.
scale industry का मरे ना, so उसका bad debt ना हो. So for that MSME is required. It's a revision of criteria of classifying micro, small and medium enterprises. So more and more entities can be covered into it for a business stimulation and business growth. And once one is MSME registered, they can go for collateral-free loans from the banks. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's a really nice thing to start a business. And I would say the government is tinkering towards the compliances burden. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, we talk about the religious trust or the charitable trust or
हाँ जी.
NGOs or non-profits. Earlier, registration under Section 12 of the Registration of Trust Act has been very cumbersome, I'm telling you. So many trust and NGOs are getting rejected for
हाँ जी.
because the process is very cumbersome.
Hmm.
But they say the
जी.
process will still remain cumbersome. But once one trust will get 5 years earlier exemption, now once it is registered, they can work for 10 years. And only after 10 years, they need to renew it. Earlier, it used to
Okay.
be 5 years, and 5 years to ऐसे निकल जाता था. So I think
Hmm.
that's a road towards a positiveness on the part of the government. Regarding financial incentives, there is one
Hmm.
uh, credit guarantee scheme. The government has earmarked 1.5 lakh crore this year for the credit guarantee scheme. So credit guarantee scheme means कि MSME sector
Hmm.
में अगर suppose credit का कोई issue है तो उसको guarantee
जी.
करने के लिए ECGC come into picture. So I think that
Okay.
potential is absolutely and first time entrepreneur they are coming with new schemes कि they can take loans collateral free उनको अपना घर ना गिरवी रखना पड़े and
Hmm.
they come with an idea or a women entrepreneur and the banks are happy to give them
Of
loan
course.
at a reasonable good rate of interest, I would say. Yeah.
So, sir, are there any notable allocations or policy changes for these key industries like manufacturing, real estate, IT, or agriculture?
Okay. Would you like to hear the good news first or the bad news first?
I'll go with the good news first.
Yeah, okay. So manufacturing
जी.
sector and the agri sector is the good news. IT
Okay.
sector and the real estate sector, I would say it is not so good news. So in manufacturing sector, there is a capital expenditure boost of
Mhm.
11.21 lakh crore. So that's really
Okay.
because I think you will agree with me in India today. So we are feeling the pinch of inflation. So over
Hmm.
the period of years, our expenditure has been multiplied, but the
Hmm.
income has not multiplied. It's with
Multiply.
every because I'm a
Yes,
chartered
yes.
accountant. Yeah, I'm a chartered. I look, so many different clients come to me. They are traders, they are salaried employees, they are manufacturers. हर किसी का
Hmm.
खर्चा बढ़ा हुआ है, but income जो है उस
इनकम
level
होते होते ही है बिल्कुल जी। हम्म।
and the reason from 7 lakh to 12 lakh is also one. This only. The people should have more disposable money to spend with.
ओके।
क्योंकि जो
ओके।
हम से 4 साल पहले या 3 साल पहले we could buy something for 1 lakh अगर हमारे घर का खर्चा let's say 20,000 है या 40,000 है या 60,000 है. So now उसमें we have to squeeze our strings. एंड डिस्पोजेबल इनकम बढ़ाने का 7 से 12 लाख से टैक्स कम पड़े. पीपल शुड स्पेंड मोर बिकॉज अगर लोग स्पेंड नहीं करेंगे तो कंपनियां मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं कर पाएंगी. और
बिल्कुल।
अगर कम मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं करेगी तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट नहीं होगी. अगर
हम्म।
एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट नहीं होगी तो देन देयर विल बी टोटल chaos and the economy may go into depression, so which I would
हम्म।
say no, also the GDP figures are not very rosy, and these are the depressing figures. एंड रही सही कसर स्टॉक मार्केट ने पूरी कर दी. जिन्होंने कुछ लगाया भी हुआ था वो भी गवा के बैठ गए. सो नाउ द गवर्नमेंट
हम्म।
now the government has allocated 11.21 lakh crore in the manufacturing, capital expenditure, so that
ओके।
manufacturing cost कम हो, लोगों को सामान
हम्म।
सस्ता मिले और सामान
हम्म।
सस्ता मिले लोग ज़्यादा खरीद सकें. और
हम्म।
ज़्यादा खरीदेंगे तो इसका एम्प्लॉयमेंट और करना पड़ेगा कंपनियों को. So it's a cycle. So now I think
ओके।
from the reverse cycle to the positive cycle for a boost, so government has done this. In the green manufacturing also, around 25,000 crore is allocated for
ओके।
industrial practices. Who does the sustainable industrial
हाँ
practice?
जी।
The government is supporting them with these things.
ओके। ओके।
Other good news is in the agricultural sector. So there is an increased budgetary support by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. They will
हम्म।
receive around 1.37 thousand crores, which is 2.7% of the union budget. So total union budget, 2.7% is allocated to, increase support to the Ministry of Agriculture. And yes, there is going to be one national mission for agriculture productivity to boost the crop yields and ensure food security. So ये तो भी अच्छी अच्छी बात है.
हाँ जी।
Real estate sector में there is nothing much, कुछ भी नहीं है. There is
हम्म।
absolutely nothing in the real estate
Oh,
sector.
they
It
have
does
not
not,
provided anything to the real estate.
absolutely not anything.
Okay.
And last, because you said कि भी जो not so
हम्म।
good news है वो है मैं बताना. So in the IT sector, the government has decreased the allocation by 1.16 lakh crore. पहले ये थी, now it is
Oh.
90. Yeah, so that's the there. And emerging technologies like AI or blockchain, so who
Hmm.
can drive efficiency. So there is a reduced allocation in that also. But I think if we really need to compete China or US,
Hmm.
in, so we
I think
really
these
need.
technologies should have been uh, uh, इनको प्रोवाइड करना चाहिए था because AI blockchain ये तो future है, this is our future तो.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in this budget, I don't know why, but there is
Mhm.
allocation is
Hmm.
reduced in this.
So sir, how does the budget has impacted personal finance, including changes in investment schemes, deductions, and saving instruments?
See, as I've told you, government really wants we to spend to boost
Hmm.
the economy.
हाँ जी.
Now the saving products have been increased to 582 products. Do you know in our country? So there are 582 saving products given by the mutual funds or the life insurances or banks or corporate FDRs. But at the same time, since the new income tax bill is around the corner, the government has tabled that also in the parliament. There is a very less scope for you know, tax related savings. Now there is no deduction if we save something. Government says save, so but don't think you'll save tax on this. The signal is very clear. The message is very clear. So whatever you're earning, you spend. तो हम गवर्नमेंट को ऑन डिफरेंट फोरम्स यही कहते हैं कि भाई साहब हम सेव कैसे कर ही नहीं सकते बिकॉज
Hmm.
एवरीथिंग गोज इन द स्पेंडिंग सो द इन्फ्लेशन इज सो मच हाउ वी कैन डू इट बट ऑन द पर्सनल फाइनेंस साइड आई वुड से the tax holiday or the tax
Mhm.
exemption that era
Mhm.
has gone. So now the person has to do on his own whatever they can do. In the budget, on the NSS also, so now
Hmm.
it's very interesting. The government has stopped paying interest on the NSS. Even it was, if the people has invested, let's say 10 years ago for the 15
Hmm.
years, government say
जी.
withdraw it or we're not going to give any interest. So that's something uh, that's I have no words to what should I say on like this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the interest rate of savings, yes, it's a competitiveness among the banks. If you go to any bank, they're also competing with the getting the deposits. So it's the annual equivalent rate is 5.05% of the savings, and direct ISA rate is 3.5%, and it starts the interest rate war among the banks. So which ultimately we consumers are going to benefit. So I would say that these are few investment related things. Yeah.
So, sir, now talking about the reforms or the measures. So, what new reforms or measures have been introduced to simplify compliances and enhance the ease of doing business in India?
Number one, the introduction of a new income tax bill. So that's the biggest tax reform the government
Hmm.
is bringing. So they are saying, so from the 800 pages of the old, the present income tax act, they're going to be doing a 622 pages act. And
Okay.
they're trying, interpretation issue should not be there and dispute should be less. The litigation among the department and taxpayers should be less, so that the law has to be very, very clear. And all the redundant sections in the income tax act they need to be removed. So I think that's how they are looking. Along with the regulatory reforms, they are going
Hmm.
to establish a very high level committee for regulatory reforms, which will be
Okay.
doing the review of outdated regulations.
Mm-hmm.
It is formed to assess and update the obsolete regulations. I think that is a need of the hour because in the changing times, so we have to get away with the sections of the income tax which are not available, which are not more useful, and adopt the new sections which are, go with the world scenario. There is
Today's
going to be very
yes.
important launch of the investment friendliness index. So this friendliness index is going to be there on the state level business environment ranking. So इसमें the person who really want to see the investment opportunities in our country or in any
हाँ
other
जी.
state. So
Hmm.
they can simply go on the portal and see कि कौन सी स्टेट में उसकी बिजनेस रैंकिंग जो है उस स्टेट की कैसी चल रही है. It will
Okay.
increase competitiveness among the
Hmm.
state to give a
Hmm.
friendly environment
Hmm.
and red tapeism cutting.
Hmm.
So I think that's a positive step.
Yes.
होपफुली अगर ये इसी साल हो जाए तो बहुत ही बढ़िया है बट बजट में दे हैव प्रोवाइडेड फॉर दिस in the custom like we are saying
Yes.
that Trump is saying that whatever the tariff India will impose we will impose the counter tariff so that's but in this budget the government has specifically provided customs tariff rationalization. They're going to simplify the trade procedures for
Mm-hmm.
rationalizing custom
अच्छा
tariffs, streamline
जी.
trade processes, reduce complexities, and promote the exports. So I think it is a need of the hour because India is really
Yes.
needs foreign
Yes.
currency to fight with the
This is going
economy.
to boost our economy only.
Absolutely, absolutely. And last but not the least, I would say the export promotion initiative. So I
Hmm.
was reading of the budget. There, it is written that There is going to be one platform, Bharat Trade Net platform. It's a single window, new platform, which will be developed to provide interface for
Mm-hmm.
exporters, procedures, and reducing the compliance requirements, so that the businessman should focus on doing business rather than, in the jugglery of compliances. There are so many compliances these days, all the whether it is GST or custom or FEMA or FERA or income tax. So that's there. This initiative is expected to boost export efficiency for sure and
Okay.
competitiveness.
So, sir, my last question to you is that based on this budget, what trends do you foresee in the economy? How should individuals and businesses prepare for the coming financial year?
So I would say our economy, the honest opinion,
Mm-hmm.
our economy needs to be stimulated badly, because right now the Indian economy is struggling to fight with the inflation. That is the biggest worry I'm telling you. People do not have disposable incomes. People, they are really going on very stringed budgets. So as I've told you, so in this budget, the government, as they have increased from 7 lakh to 12 lakhs, purpose यही है, if we save 74,000 of tax, we should spend that or at least save that. And only if we spend only then the manufacturing sector will grow. And it's a vicious cycle. So मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ग्रो करेगा, एम्प्लॉयमेंट होगी तो और अपॉर्चुनिटीज आएंगी, सैलरी मिलेगी लोगों को, वो खर्चेंगे. सो अभी रिवर्स साइकिल की ओर जा रहा है. आई truly wish the market should respond positively, which unfortunately it did not, but hope is the limit. So I guess we are good to go with the reforms, because it is going to be 11th budget of this current government. There are four more to come. So hopefully everything, all is well. Yeah.
Yes, of course. All wells that ends well. Ji. So, sir, wrapping up the discussion on this year's budget, on the behalf of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, would like to thank you for sharing such valuable insights with us today.